Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We are building a game called Tashio Tempo. Wishlist now on Steam at steam.tashio.dev if you want to add it. We're working on putting the water spell on the game. Now right now it's just the fire spell. But we can do some stuff here. We do have, so like if we were to unequip it, spacebar does not do anything with your Manus, which is okay. Now let's try doing this. We're spellcasting. I paused it, I switched over to red, and it reset, that's about right. It reset my focus indicator, my white bar, but it did not reset my Manus bar, so that the players cannot just permanently cast spells by swapping or whatever. So that's looking right, but we need to change the spell cast itself to be something totally different. We're gonna make, I think, two different prototypes, and the first one's gonna be, we're gonna get rid of this kind of like speed ramping up of the focus bar. And once we get rid of that, then we're going to add like a little timer for the time that the white bar is in the successful cast range. So it's when it's in that green zone. And if we are in that zone for about 1 second or so, then a successful cast will come out, and instead of Flamma where it's circling around you, we will just chuck a water splash in the square we're facing, basically, or 1 square away from where we're facing. So that's the plan here. So I think what that means is here in our element equipped aqueous, we have this thing called unfocus, and unfocus is the instability of your focus. So if it were pure linear, it would go from the left to the right linearly, right? But the unfocus is what kind of drags it along. So I think we want to do something with the unfocus. We don't want to do that. So I guess we can try just turning off this unfocus and just see if it becomes more stable, more linear? No. Okay, well, it's weird to think through what the unfocus actually does, but let's walk it through, right? So if we're holding the space bar and our element is equipped, we're going to drain our vibrancy, that's right here. Unfocus determines whether or not focus is growing or not. But we're doing this if our Manus is greater than 0, and Manus is our red bar. So if we have Manus to cast, then go ahead and adjust our unfocus by the focus grow constant. For right now, I'm going to turn that off and see if that changes anything. No, I can't get any spellcast coming out. It looks like it did drain my Manus, but it did not render the bar. Oh, and now we are rendering the bar. Okay. It looks like our render is affected by more than just spellcasting. I don't know why it turns off with unfocus. Let's see, where are we setting? We should be setting like a sort of opacity for our spell. magic HUD opacity. It has to do with the focus indicator. Okay, player time since last rest, magic HUD opacity. Okay. Okay, let's go up a little bit and let's see this. If it's in the player class, if we are not in the middle of a scene transition and we're holding down the action button while not being in the loot state, we're going to go check for what we've got equipped and then do certain things if our Aquus is equipped, for example. So what if we were to... See, what's weird is I don't think this... Okay. This is where it's going. Let me just try to say that our self.unfocus here is actually 0. So we're gonna undo whatever focus we got before just to see if we can see the HUD now. And we cannot. Because I think that's telling me that, I mean, the render is controlled by the unfocus, which isn't great. And no, it's more, it's the indicator X. Okay, so what if we just ignore the unfocus? We just don't add it and we don't subtract it. So we don't use the unfocus, and let's see. Okay, nice. Okay, so now this should be purely linear. No, it is not. Okay, so when we go to use, see, look, this is the Aquus equipped. I want to say we just take out all this unfocused stuff, but monostrain. Oh, right here. Unfocused by the unfocused scaler. Let's take this out. Shit. Okay. It's still draining our manas, but this is so wrong. If we have manas to do... Okay. So what is this? Okay, so this is clamping, apply... Oh, dude. We don't need this. We don't need to... Why are we subtracting our mana strain? It's a weird way we have done it. And naming it unfocused doesn't help anything either, but... Okay. Did that look linear that time? No, it does not. It still does that like hiccupy motion. Let me just see. If we say that our unfocus here is flush to 0, let's just see what that looks like. Okay, and we do not get it out. It's okay. Focus. We're setting focus indicator X to This is weird, man. We did this horribly. What is the unfocused scaler? $60. It still doesn't look, it still looks jacked up, doesn't it? Okay, well, maybe we just gut a lot of this stuff because this is for a spell that we are not casting. Or, you know, it's all the old stuff. We do have a focus drain. Okay. This is okay. See, look, and we flush our unfocus to 0 while we drain it. And then we regen our manas if we're not casting, if we're not holding the A button. So here, you know, we need to, why do we do this? Manas max -2 here. We're saying if we're casting and we have manas to use, then we're going to take our indicator X, which is the X position of the white bar, and we're going to add whatever our unfocus is, plus our unfocus scalar. Let me just maybe try here. What if we set it to 1? Just want a linear scale for this thing. There we go. Okay. So the 0 was screwing it up. We needed it ×1. So see now, okay, so this is good. Okay, so this doesn't quite get us there, right? So like if we hold it, we don't even have enough manas to get in the zone. So what we need to do is increase the amount that we're rising it by. So we could say, I don't know if 2 makes it twice as fast or what. Okay, so maybe like something like 1.5. This is a pretty good one. Okay. So now what we need to do is only when we've got the blue element equipped, we need to start a timer for how long we've held in the successful cast range. Because the idea is you have to balance it in the range, and then there'll be like, you know, Tashio will flash, or you'll hear a sound effect that is like signifying a charge up. And then until the white bar is in the green zone for maybe a second, it'll actually fire. So let's try to get maybe the timing for the fire correct, and then we can worry about how to actually aim or how to actually spit out a projectile or something. Okay. So where do we do the successful cast range, though? I think it's outside the player class, but maybe not. Let's see. Successful cast. Oh, right here. We have a range. Okay. That's okay. What we need to do... Yeah, see, we need to do this spell. We need to do... See, this is kind of interesting. It's like we're technically playing the fire spell over and over and over, and we just set the volume based on if we're casting or not. So that's not very ideal. But let's see if we can figure out how to get a little timer going for this. So this is our Aquis. We took off applying our unfocus to indicator. We clamp our manas. That looks right. We're setting here. This is the magic rate here. So we should probably do Aquis unfocus rate, or Aquis focus. Yeah, Aquis focus rate at a 1.5. What would you call it? Increment, focus grow? I don't know. I think we've called it focus grow in the past. So Aquis, focus grow. Let's try that. Okay, so that's a 1.5. That's looking okay. Now we need to do this check only while spacebar is being pressed, because if you let go of spacebar, right? Like Aquis is a different kind of, well, actually, no, it's different. Let me see if I can hear the spell with Aquis. We can. Okay, so we need to hide the spellcast sound under a conditional check, which is element has to be equipped, then play Flama sound, which we have right here. Fire spell volume, that's where we're setting it, but then when we actually play it, where is it? Play. Doesn't help, it's the name of our class. Right here. Okay, so we're only gonna set the volume. I don't know if this breaks anything, because we're setting our volume to the fire spell volume. No, this should be okay. Only if Flama's equipped. Okay. Let's do Flama sound here. Let's see. Okay. So Flama is still hearable there. Oh, and then I broke it. Okay, so I guess if it's not equipped, then we have to set our fire spell volume to off. This is not it. This is not it. Okay. Okay, well, I don't like this. We have to see where we're setting this fire spell volume. Oh, we set it. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. We play it here. We set our volume here. Okay, this is a little jacked up because we're not even checking. See, because this is the volume decrement, but this isn't. This is happening regardless of what spell's equipped. Okay, so right now we're setting the fire spell volume. We're setting the fire spell volume only upon a successful cast with sufficient vibrancy, which makes sense. But we do also need to omit this if, you know, we need to defer to what spell's being equipped, because this is where the check is happening if we're playing. So maybe we can put the element equipped here. So it looks like see, but then here we've got an else that kind of deducts the fire spell volume. I don't know if this is that important. I guess it depends if we're casting a spell and then we go into our menu system, should the spell abruptly stop or should it fade out? I guess we get to choose. I might want to just do a little code block specific to the one, you know, specific to the element that we're holding. So let's see if this cuts the sound on Aquis or not. So we've got it on Flamma. That looks right. Okay, and then we'll charge that up again real quick. Okay. Nice. Okay, so we've got the vibrancy drain working, it looks like, and it looks like the special sound is omitted, which I guess we could do a similar block, because this would be Flamma sound. And then this would be Aquis sound. Okay. And we're going to put something like an SFX play if it's not already playing. So we can pick something, and I think we need to do a vibrancy check as well. Okay. It's gonna look something like this, except this should be Aquis vibrancy. Okay, and then we're not modifying the fire spell volume. We can put in a placeholder sound for now. So maybe what we'll do is find an SFX definition, maybe. We have a Fire Blast 2 that we could do, just to have a different sound than Flamma for now. You know, we can get Kane to help us with a new sound effect once it's working. Okay. I don't hear the Fire Blast. But also, we're saying if it's not already playing, go ahead and play it. It could have a quiet volume that we set somewhere, maybe. Or we can maybe look at maybe the cheater toggle, and we can plop it down in a branch here. Let's just see if we press 9. Okay, so it's not the set volume. That's wrong. It's not the set volume. So it looks like maybe our aqueous vibrancy isn't right then. So let's see if we drain our Flamma vibrancy, if that carries over into aqueous. So let's see. Uh-oh. Player 515. What is that right here? It just, yeah, it doesn't have... Oh. Element equipped aqueous here. Oh, okay. So it is this aqueous vibrancy. So let me see. Yeah, we should have... Let's test and see if the vibrancy is unique to the element. So we're going to just drain our vibrancy a bit. And vibrancy is... Oh, dude, we're not even draining it. Oh, yeah, we are. Vibrancy is the red bar near the circular red element there in our A slot. So that drains over time. And then what we're looking for is when we swap over to aqueous, if that carries over, if it carries over Flamma's vibrancy. So look, we've got a chunk of Flamma's vibrancy missing. Yeah, we don't have aqueous vibrancy. Okay. Okay. So we need to drain vibrancy based on the equipped spell, as well as play sounds and different spellcasting behavior based on the equipped spell. So where is our vibrancy drain? Right here. If we're holding it and we're holding Flamma, we're going to render our Flamma vibrancy. So it looks like we do have Flamma vibrancy appropriately assigned. But then here, oh, see, look, we have Flamma vibrancy. So we need an aqueous vibrancy, and we'll put aqueous vibrancy here. It depends when we render it too. We have to be rendering it based on this field as well. But for now, we need to also find where we initialize Flamma vibrancy so that we can give our aqueous vibrancy existence before we arithmetic on it. Okay. There we go. We're getting the sound, which is good, because now we're checking on aqueous vibrancy. So once we add the timer here, I just want to make sure that the aqueous drain is working, which it doesn't really seem to be. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're draining. So maybe in the render we're screwing that up, or oh gosh. I also want to try it swapping back to Flamma. So we've got, it should drop, right? Our cheater toggle, okay. So it drops some vibrancy, so let's swap. It's still rendering the wrong one. Okay, so somewhere in the render, we're not doing a conditional check for the vibrancy. Where do we render vibrancy? Because I know we added the blue color somewhere. It's in the magic HUD. What do we call it? Magic HUD? I think it's magic HUD opacity. It's more of Flamma vibrancy. Okay, now this is checks, not render, but right here we render Flamma vibrancy. Okay, so look, yeah, it's really that simple. So this is in our play state, not our player class, and we're just rendering a bar to fill based on the aqueous vibrancy or the Flamma vibrancy, depending on what's equipped. So now we should have two different vibrancy bars. So this should drain. So that drained a bit. Oh God, and then I quit. Let's do it again. We gotta add a cheater toggle to up our mana so that we can spellcast forever and always. There we go. Okay, so we've started to drain. Oh, okay. It's right except for it's right except for the pause state. So let's just make sure we fix it in the pause state here. Uh-oh. It's not good. Vibrancy. Oh, inventory class. That's where it is. Okay. Okay, it's in the inventory class. Dude, this is horrible. Okay. I feel like we might want to refactor out our HUD into its own class so that we don't have to duplicate this junk. So I don't like that. But this should get it done. So let's see if we can test different vibrancy levels. So before I do that, I just want to give us more Manus or a slower Manus drain, right? So if we do Manus drain and make it drain a lot slower. Why do we have two Manus drains? Oh, it's just a global, so we should man, my go to definition is not working. Okay, we have a drain of 100, so we can either like double our regen or half our drain, right? So 30 is our good regen or our game regen, but let's say what if it was 100? Our minus regen is gonna be like cheater status here. Yeah, we can drain it fine, but okay, so we're just gonna do some testing to see if our vibrancy is in fact unique to the element we've got equipped. So we're just gonna drain a bit here. Okay, we drained some. We're not draining them. Oh, yeah, we are. The Aquis Monastrain should be a lot faster, man. Like a lot faster. Or, yeah. But it only renders on like a 1 pixel basis, you know, so... Oh, and you know what? I think it only drains as I'm holding it. No. Okay, so there's some more just drained, so let's try swapping back. There we go. Okay, yeah, so see how we have different levels of vibrancy per different spellcast, which is good. So that looks kind of right. We do need... I want to set this a little brighter. I'm just, oh gosh, I'm just changing this to be a very blue. But yeah, that's not quite it. So the way we do it is we render an empty bar and then we render like okay, so it's kind of backwards. It's actually this bar that is the color. I should rename this. What's up, Warren? How's it going? Yo, I've been good. I started a new job a couple weeks ago, so I've been kind of getting into the groove of that. You know how that goes, just kind of starting again, learning all kinds of new stuff, but it's been good. And the Steam demo for the game is out, so if you want to wish list the game on Steam, we have a link finally. That steam.tashio.dev will take you to the Steam page, which is very exciting. So now I'm just trying to, keep chugging along and hopefully finish the game. I'm hoping to finish the game in the next, I want to say like 15 months, but it's hard to be real about that. Okay, I basically want super blue, basically. Red, green, blue. So let's just say if we just have 0 on the red channel, 0 on the green, only blue. Nice. Yeah, so I missed I've been I have not been consistently streaming, which I'm trying to fix. Last night I streamed and the stream crashed like instantly, so I'm looking now, we have like 1700 drop frames, so that's not great, but at least we're up. Okay. But it's been good. It's been good. It's just like, it's crazy because this game is like really simple. Actually, I kind of like the old one. The game is really simple, and I'm not even kind of done. So it's just, you know how it goes. Game dev is just like so freaking much work, but we're getting there. So we're working on the second spell. So the idea is the demo has got a fourth of the game in the sense of we've got 1 spell, 1 tunic, 1 tome. So the next, we gotta get a new spell cast so that we can add a new enemy, so that we can design a new level, and then we can design a new tunic, add a new tome, and then we're halfway done with the game, and then just keep going. So, I mean, that's putting it way simpler than it really is, but that's essentially what we're going for. Okay, I think this is okay. Okay, so let's add the time. Right, we need to add a time counter for in a successful cast range with Aquis attached, so that we can determine if we've been in the successful range long enough to actually cast. So Aquis is a little different, right? Flamma is like, as long as your white bar is in the green zone, you will be casting. Aquis is, as long as your white bar is in the green zone, you will be charging up an attack, and then once you hit like 1 second, you'll fire. So let's go. We have to count, it's gonna be probably in our player class here. Okay, so when we're spellcasting, if Aquis is equipped, we've got to do a check. We've got to do a focus indicator check. So this is a successful cast range. We might mess around with moving the successful cast range at some point, but I don't know. Right now, if Aquis is attached, we're going to do this thing here. And this is going to be our Aquis time. What? Time in successful cast? Aquis successful cast. Okay. We need a Aquis success timer. Okay, and what we're going to do is if we're in the successful cast range, we're going to set our Aquis success timer to be just growing by delta time. This is all within... See, and this is a little different. We don't want it here. We don't want it upon a button press. We want it just in general. So when we do it here, yeah, right here. Oh, we already have this. Okay. Successful cast is true. Yeah, we don't want this. We want something like this success timer. And then vibrancy max. We don't need this right now. This is useful for... What was this? Flammable vibrancy less than vibrancy max, then set our volume. Our vibrancy was less than our max vibrancy. I think vibrancy works the other way around. I think 0 is full vibrancy and vibrancy max is like out of vibrancy. So maybe that's a little backwards, but we're casting a sound, a fire blast, which is not going to be the final sound, but we have this Aquis success timer and we just need to access it based off the field of our player. Dude, where did I just go? Where did I just go? Right here. Successful cast, Aquis sound. Yes, right here. Self.aquis success timer. So we're just gonna increase this success timer. Then we need to do, what up, Cavictus? How's it going, dude? We've got to, one, see if this is a decent looking value. But then we need to reset it anytime we fall out of the successful cast when we have Aquis equipped or when we swap. We need to make it so that our success timer is... It's good, Cavictus. Dude, we're working on getting the water spell. So that's what we're working on. Right now we're adding the timer, right? Because you need to have in the successful cast range for about a second, maybe. And then it'll lob the water spell. That's the kind of current idea right now. So we're probably going to prototype another idea for it if this doesn't work, or maybe we'll just prototype it just for experimental reasons. But we're going to print up this Aquis success timer onto the screen. So we will put this in the play state and we'll put it somewhere where we're doing a draw, and we'll do it. We'll just print it somewhere. Actually, during our print, we're going to add a print right here, graphics.print, and we're going to cast our timer into a string so that we can print it. Timer, and then 0 and 10 for X and Y just on screen, and we can put, if we wanted to, Aquis timer, and then concatenate the string to itself so we can see it. Oh god. Yeah, we gotta say this singular quote, then a space, then a dot dot to concatenate. Okay, it shouldn't be, oh, it's not self, it's player. So our global player success timer. Okay. So if we try to do a Flamma, we're in a successful cast, but we don't have an Aquis timer because we're not having Aquis equipped. If we had Aquis equipped, then we balance it. We get that timer going. So the timer's close. You know, we just need to, we're incrementing it, but we do need to shrink it or reset it back to 0 when we're out. So that is what we've got to do. I'm just gonna play a bit more with it and see if because you know we can do it one of two ways. Well, because what I'm thinking is that, you know, if we're balancing it in the small successful cast range, if we flush it anytime the thing is 1 pixel out of the successful cast range, then if they were at 0.9 seconds, then they missed the spell cast, which may not be so fair. So a different way of doing it might be to increment it as you're in a successful cast, but then when you're out of it, start decrementing that timer. So you need a total of 1 second in. So basically, if you get 0.9 seconds in the zone and you dip out for a 0.1 second, instead of resetting it back to 0, it resets you back to 0.8, and then you just need another 0.2 seconds to get your cast off. So I think something like that is probably better. So we should probably do a little decrement thing. So where is our Aquis success timer incrementation? Right here when Aquis is equipped and it's in the zone. Okay, so if it's equipped and in the zone, good for you. We're going to increment. Otherwise, we're going to decrement it so that it shrinks. Okay, and then let's see. Oh yeah, we need to clamp it though, obviously. We need to clamp it, and we're gonna clamp it to we're gonna do this, a math dot, we're gonna do a higher of 2 numbers, so a math dot max. And we're gonna do that arithmetic, but then also give it a 0. So say if you're smaller than a 0, you're just 0. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, and then, okay, no, that's looking okay. Okay, I kind of feel like, okay, so here when we say this, we don't want to just play it. We want to only play it if our Aquis success timer is greater than a 1. Let's just say it's 1. Then we're going to go ahead and play that successful cast sound. Nice. So yeah, it functions like that, a bit different. So Flamma comes out like basically the second you're in a successful cast range, Flom comes out. This one's a little different. It's like, oh yeah, you get it there, but it needs to have a power up sound to indicate that something's happening. You know, you're doing it right. It's just not spitting out the thing. So we do need ultimately a thing like that. And we should we definitely should also clamp the positive, just like we clamped the negative of the aqueous success timer. Where are we, man? Aqueous success timer, we've got to clamp the positive as well. So we're going to do a math.minimum and give it 2 arguments, one of which is the incrementation of this the timer, and the other is +1. It's just the max timer we want. This is to prevent us from, you know, if they cast and they get a total of 3 seconds in their success timer, but then they let go, they can kind of get, you know, bank up some success timer, and the next time they little bit touch it, it would cast. So this is just to kind of clamp it. Clamp it to 1, right? Uh-oh. Okay, and then our issue is that this is greater than and not greater than or equal to the clamp. So that was impossible. Okay. Cool. Okay, so that's looking right. Nice. Okay. So we need a timer. We need a sound effect for the charging. And the charging will happen anytime aqueous timer is greater than 0 and smaller than 1. So like, you know, charge up, and then as soon as we hit, so it'd be like pew, something like that. So like something like that. And then that's like the functionality of how to spellcast. And Cavictus, the only thing we really changed is we made the focus indicator completely linearly growing instead of the kind of like chugging along. I call it unfocus in the code. It's just like a stupid name for it. I didn't know what to call it, but it's kind of like the, and in the Mage Castle, I explain this in the books, and it says like focusing your energy results in unstable focus, and the unstable focus is the variance in the white indicator. So if we switch it to be linear here on aqueous, it takes out that kind of lore of like the instability of the focus, because the whole idea is like your input is your focus, I guess, right? Like what you're exerting is your focus, and even if that is stable, the result is unstable. So like just like in real life, where it's like just because you are going to sit down and look at a screen doesn't mean you're going to be focused, even though you might be exerting some energy. So we might mess around with moving the successful cast range to be maybe waving, because then you have to kind of balance it in the same kind of way. Or we can make the successful cast range grow and shrink, and like it stays in place other than the growing and shrinking. So like that, it can kind of be pulsing like that. So you have to kind of like stay in the pulse range, try to get a whole second, something like that. But I am getting back into streaming, and I'm committing to, I'm trying to do every day again, right? I'm trying to do it. As long as our internet serves me okay. But that being said, I'm also trying to limit it to an hour with my new job and, you know, taking care of the dogs and all my other stuff. So we're at an hour, so I'm gonna call it a night before. Actually, we've got to commit. And let's just check our get diff here real quick. Yeah. Let me do this. Okay, so what we did was we tethered our vibrancy to the spell-specific vibrancy. We give ourselves a Aqueous success timer. We are clamping our focus indicator for the Aqueous equip to be out of range of the unfocus. Basically, we're just not using unfocus for well, it's more complicated than that. We are using unfocus, but we just set it to a stable focus grow. Yo, thanks Cavictus. It's sorry man. I tried to get done before the ads. I did. Sorry, dude. 3 minutes of ads? Oh god, dude. Okay, well maybe, yeah, we'll walk through this and then I can say goodbye. Let's see. Okay, we are adding a fire blast to sound. And it's like, here, we did this. This is kind of weird. Okay, so instead of just doing successful cast based on being in the successful cast range, it now depends on which element is equipped. So we took out the Flamma successful cast if Aqueous is equipped. And then if Aqueous is equipped, if we're in the successful cast range, then we're going to be playing the spell firing sound only if we've been in the range for 1 second or more. So that's what we added there. We doubled our regen. This is just for quality of life for development. We are going to go back to 30. This is just so that I don't have to wait so long to regenerate my magic. Cheater toggles unchanged, and then our vibrancy render is based on our individual element vibrancy, not our default Flamma vibrancy. So that's what we've added, which is pretty significant in terms of mechanics if this is the direction we're going. So I like this idea that it's going to lob the spell in front of you to whatever direction you're facing, and there's going to be other items in the game that is kind of like this. So blueberries in the game, you're going to be able to kind of throw in front of you, and they're going to kind of like arch over and land. We'll probably do that all in Love and not in like a sprite or anything. We'll probably just do it with a circle render or something like that and keep it simple. We might do a little particle system for the spellcast lob, for Aqueous spellcast lob, but maybe a circle to lob and then a particle system to kind of explode and look like a splash. Particle system probably overkill for that, so maybe we just do a sprite for that. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. So next steps is we're gonna be committing this. Let's do this here. I think I can do right here. Okay, so we're gonna mark this for committing, and then we are going to commit with a message saying that this is Aqueous specific vibrancy and spellcast sound. Okay, we committed, and then we will push, and we just push. Oh god, did we just push to our develop branch? No, we're on our main branch. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be back, and what we're going to be doing tomorrow is visualizing the square that we're facing, right? So that we know where we're going to be lobbing the spell. And then now that I'm thinking about it, there's going to be more stuff, because if we're going to, like, let's say we throw a spell up into a wall that's a collidable map object, it shouldn't go very far. It should get stuck because there's a wall there. So we're going to have to do a little bit of stuff. But tomorrow is going to be visualizing the adjacent square that we're going to be deploying our magic spell into. And then we can worry about adding some geckos and some collision for the spell. And we do a crappy animation at first for the spell and explosion, depending on which angle you're facing. And then that will be our first time testing the new spell and the new mechanic. So then we get to decide, okay, well, does the water flip our entities and kind of stall them for 5 seconds, or does it slow down their walk speed so that you can swap over to a new spell and blast them easier? Or if it's just like a elemental specific weakness sort of thing with certain enemies, we kind of have to play through and figure that out. But that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with more stuff, and we will find someone to rate out to. We'll see. Yeah, you know what? Our boy Brightside's doing a beta test for his game, and he does music producing and video games, which is a little bit like what I do. So he's a good friend of the channel. So we're rating out. Thanks for hanging, y'all. Have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow.